1 year ago, I walked onto the ice, barely able to stop without panicking. Fast forward 1 year, and I passed multiple learn to skate levels, started jumping, spinning, and completely falling in love with figure skating. Today, I'm sharing everything from my progress, every piece of gear I've ever bought, what was worth the money, and how much it has cost me since starting. So hopefully your first year is easier than mine. You're probably wondering what made me start this hobby to begin with. Originally, my husband was supposed to leave for a work assignment, and I knew I needed something to keep me busy while he was away. I wanted a hobby that would challenge me, help pass the time, and get me out of the house. So I signed up for my local Learn to Skate program. I already had an athletic background, having competed in track and field from middle school through college, so I was excited to learn something completely different. When I started figure skating, I didn't have dreams of competing or landing difficult elements. I just wanted to be able to jump on ice. That was my original goal. And everything since has grown from there. Okay, so here's my timeline. Month 1, I started in adult 2, learning the skills on the screen. I actually did have a little skating background before starting figure skating. I actually grew up roller skating every Friday night, so the feeling of being on skates wasn't completely new for me. What was new was learning actual skating techniques. One of the biggest adjustments was learning to bend my knees. Coming from track and field, I was taught to stand tall and generate power into the ground. Figure skating is almost the opposite. You have to stay low, keep your knees bent, and let the blades do the work. In month 3 and 4, I was learning adult 3 skills. The biggest struggles that I faced was realizing that skating wasn't just about moving. It was about using the correct edge, trusting your blades. Going backwards was intimidating, and stopping while skating backwards felt impossible at first. Month 5 and 6, I was learning adult 4 skills. This was the first time skating started to feel smooth instead of stiff. I began understanding how important edges and knee bend really was. But still, some of the hardest skills for me within adult 4 was forward crossovers and backwards half swivel pumps, preparing me for backwards crossovers. Month 8 and 9, I was learning adult 5 skills. I actually failed adult 5 for the first time. At that time, it was so frustrating, but looking back, it forced me to build stronger foundations instead of rushing ahead. Some of the harder skills in adult 5 for me was backwards crossovers. At one point in time, I was not even able to do them without holding someone's hand, and then beginning 2-foot spins. I am currently in pre-free skate, and where I am now, essentially I'm taking private lessons. I'm working on stronger edges, better posture, waltz jump, woohoo! I'm able to jump on ice, higher quality skating, and more confidence on the ice. Some of the skills from adult 6 that I struggle with are power pulls and 2-foot spin into 1-foot spins. Spins just have not come easy for me. I do suffer from vertigo, so it makes it a little bit harder for me to be able to spin. But then also my body does all these crazy things on ice as I am also trying to spin. What helped me improve the most was probably private lessons. This was probably the biggest game changer. Group lessons taught me the skills, but private lessons helped me understand how to do them correctly. I got immediate feedback instead of practicing mistakes over and over. This next piece of advice I tell every new skater and even older skaters as well. Record every session. I've recorded almost every skating session I've ever had, and watching myself back helped me see things I couldn't feel while skating, like not bending my knees. Y'all, that was one of the more harder things for me to grasp in the beginning, and as simple as it may sound, I felt as though I had a deep knee bend. I'm bending my knees, and then I would look back at the video and my legs were straight as a pencil. It was terrible. If I could give one piece of advice to every beginner, it would be to bend your knees more than you think you need to. I cannot stress this enough how many times my coach reminded me to bend my knees. So once I finally commit to skating with a deeper knee bend, everything started to improve. My edges, my crossovers, turns, speeds, balance, and even my confidence. It sounds simple, but honestly, it changed my skating. I also spent a lot of time watching tutorials, professional skaters, and other adult skaters online. Seeing a skill from a different angle or hearing different coaching explanations helped concepts click before I even stepped on the ice. I also did a lot of strength training, so coming from track and field definitely gave me a good athletic foundation, but figure skaters use muscles in a complete different way. So strengthening my core, my glutes, my ankles, and single leg stability made a huge difference in my skating. I also practiced jump techniques off ice ever before doing them on ice, like waltz jumps, skater hops, plyometrics, helped me become more comfortable with leaving the ground and improved my confidence when on ice. Moving on to everything I bought my first year of figure skating. I bought Jackson Freestyles because they were one of the most recommended beginner and intermediate boots. They were much more affordable than jumping straight into high-end boots, but still supportive enough to get me through my first few years of skating and learning basic jumps and spins. Would I buy the Jackson Freestyles again? Absolutely. If I were starting over today, I'd still buy the Jackson Freestyles. They were everything I needed while learning the fundamentals without spending thousands of dollars right away. I tell people who just starting figure skating to stay in the learn to skate 1 through 3. And if you end up loving the sport and wanting to continue skating, to then buy your first pair of skates, because you just want to make sure that you are committed to the sport before spending ample amount of money on skates, and then you may not even use them ever again. One thing I was not expecting was that I would have pronation, meaning my ankles naturally collapse inward when I skate. At first, I could not get on an outside edge no matter how hard I tried. I honestly thought it was just me not understanding the skill, but my coach noticed that my ankles were rolling inwards, making it nearly impossible to balance correctly. Instead of buying new skates or new blades, we moved my blades slightly to a better lineup and how my feet naturally sit. The difference was immediate. Before, my outside edges felt impossible. My ankles constantly collapsed inwards and I struggled to trust my edges. Now I can finally get on an outside edge no problem. Holding outside edges became much easier and I felt more stable and balanced. It didn't magically make me a better skater or anything. I still had to practice, but it finally allowed me to use my edges the way they were supposed to work. FYI, if you constantly feel like you're fighting your skates, it might not be a skill issue. It could be a boot or blade alignment issue that's worth discussing with your coach or like a skate technician. Hard guards to protect my blades whenever I'm walking off ice. Obviously, hard guards are used to protect your blades from like concrete, rubber floors. It's easy to put on, take off. It helps your blades stay sharp for a longer period of time. You need soft soakers to absorb moisture after skating and protect your blades while in your skate bag. So it basically helps prevent your blades from rusting. It protects your blades from getting scratched in your bag. In my opinion, you need them more than you need hard guards, but both are extremely important. I also got padded ice skating gloves. I knew I was going to fall a lot and I wanted basically gloves that would keep my hands warm but also give me some sort of protection. So I got some padded figure skating gloves and it seemed to be one of the most recommended options for skaters. It has built-in padding on the palms that helps soften falls. It keeps my hands warm without feeling bulky. One of the cons is that it's not waterproof, so if you spend a lot of time on the ice after falling, they can get wet. Padding is great for minor falls but won't completely protect your hands from like harder impacts. I also got an Adea off-ice spinner. As I told you before, spins are one of my weakest skills, and I knew I needed something to help balance, body alignment, and getting comfortable with rotating. Last but not least, I got a weekly off-ice bingo book. I only skate a couple times a week, so I wanted something that would keep me accountable on the days I wasn't at the rink. I also liked that it took the guesswork out of my off-ice training. I didn't have to think about what to do each day. Instead, I could just work towards completing my bingo card. This book consists of 52 weeks of skating-specific bingo games and journal pages designed to make off-ice training more engaging. One of the biggest things it helped me with is basically staying consistent. It gave me a reason to continue working towards my skating goals even at home, and I found it easier to stay motivated because I had a small task to keep instead of trying to build my own workout every single day. And I'm sure this is the part that everyone is waiting for. How much have I spent since starting figure skating? I will have a breakdown of everything in each section and then a total at the end. So this includes my actual skates, my private lessons, my learn to skate lessons, any accessories that I've had. I'm not in competition as of right now, but I did join my local rinks club, so that's also added in there as well, for a total of $3,630.95. The biggest expense wasn't actually my skates, of course, as I previously told you. It was really my ice time and coaching. Looking back, I don't regret it at all. Figure skating has become one of my favorite hobbies, and I've learned so much over the past year. Could you do it for less? Absolutely. No private lessons, maybe just doing learn to skate, using your passes via learn to skate and not going multiple times to the rink. Looking back, I don't regret a single dollar I spent. I've met some incredible people, found an amazing community, and genuinely have fallen in love with figure skating. This sport has challenged me in ways I've never expected. It taught me patience, resilience, and how to celebrate the little wins. I started this as a way to try something new as an adult, and it turned into one of my favorite parts of my week. So, if you've been thinking about taking that first learn to skate class, this is your sign. You're not too old. You don't have to be naturally talented. You just have to be willing to show up. If you made it this far, thank you for following my journey. Year 2 starts now, and I can't wait to see how much more I grow. If you're on your own skating journey, let me know in the comments where you're at. I would love to cheer you on. See you all on the ice.